Hey everyone, how's it going? What's up? It's me, Twister Windstalker, bringing you guys another video. And on my way to work this morning, I saw some blue strobing lights, and I'm like, oh no. And apparently somebody got pulled over this morning. Don't know for what, but they got pulled over. So I was like, okay, cool. That's fine. And then I get to the roundabout, and there's more blue strobing lights. And they're doing a license check. And I'm like, oh man. And two officers come over to the car. And one of them asks me for my license, because they're like, we're doing a license check. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And the other one goes around to the back of the car. And the one guy is like, clear. And the other guy looks at the other dude. The one officer looks at the other officer. And I'm like, okay, you can go. After he asked me where I'm going, and I was like, work. I mean, I've been pulled over before, essentially for being out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the officers didn't recognize my ride. And they're like, where you going, sir? I'm like, work. And their reaction's always the same, pretty much. It's like, really? Work? Where do you work? So yeah. And of course, since I have a CCW, I show them that too, and that's a whole nother thing you have to go through if you ever do get the CCW. And because you're supposed to show that no matter what you pulled for, traffic stop, license check, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to show it. And the questions is always the same. Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. Some officers want to put it outside the car so they can feel safe, while others are like, oh, okay. And then they're like, have a nice day. I've only had one officer do that. Asked me where it is. I told him in a book bag, because that's where I used to keep it. And he wanted to put it on the roof of the car. And it's like, do you know how hard it is for me to get into this book bag to get this thing out? Sure, well, you go write the ticket for whatever. I think I was speeding that time. Or maybe it was dead tag, I can't remember. Sure, I could just whip it out and whatever. But if you do too much movement in the car, they're going to get suspicious and come over to you with a gun drawn. So it's like, what's the point? Sure, you can kind of do it low-key and everything, I guess, and, make it less obvious. But who wants to waste that much time? Who wants to be sitting there and getting arrested when they can go to work and make some money? I sure don't. I'd rather just be like, listen, I got a CCW, it's blah, 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 and, be on my way. Because, traffic stops usually last, well, depending on how fast the officer can type and everything, they can last 5-10 minutes. I've even had it where I was riding with a friend, and it took the officer it felt like 30 minutes. It was probably more like 20, but it felt like 30. It's like, oh. But yeah, so that was my experience this morning. Going through a traffic stop. At first I was like, oh man. Because there was this one time I was going to work, and there was a buttload of cops out, like they were doing the license check this morning. And supposedly some crazy person with a gun or something was in one of these houses, and the cops told me to turn around and go the other way, and that wasted a lot of my travel to work time, but at least I'll leave way early, So it's like, whatever. Yeah. So that was an interesting morning this morning. I get to go through a license check, and then make my way to work, And then I get to work, and then this one guy is getting overwhelmed by two fast people on the long side, my side of where I work. And then he spends like what feels like 20-30 minutes complaining to the boss that it was too hard for him. And he's supposed to be one of the best people we have in the tower. And, you know, he's supposed to be able to do this by himself, but he gets frustrated and overwhelmed because of all of it. And it's like, and then he spends, you know, and complaining that we did 4,300 packages the first hour or first 2 hours. And it's like, okay, well, that's the goal for the building, is 4,300 packages. And of course, we normally do 300 or 3,300, but I mean, you know, it's like 1,000 more, and he's complaining about it. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably never going to let us have two fast people on one side again. But it's been an interesting day, because I got home, I got out of work, my back was killing me, so was my heels from standing on freaking concrete all day and all this stuff I done. So I had to come home and rest my back and take me a little power nap, which was fun. I enjoyed the power nap. But now that I'm going in 30 minutes early to work, I gotta make sure my power naps ain't too bad so that I can get some sleep, since I'm going in 30 minutes early, so I can get some extra time in. Of course, I get 30 minutes afterwards, but I get 30 minutes prior too, so that helps out a lot. Yeah, it turned out to be sort of a nice day. It started out crappy, and now it's decent. But yeah, if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave comments down below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.